and I consider it my good fortune to have this opportunity to share my views with such an elite faculty group which is assembled here. So I will be speaking basically based on my last 10 years experience here in this hospital that I work for, and more specifically because we have been a COVID designated hospital facility. So I have seen a lot of people go through a lot of pain during this period. And while the patient undergoes pain, there is tremendous suffering that the family undergoes. And I've seen people go through that in extremely close quarters. And I have also been training people in meditation for the last 2 decades. So, how this meditation has actually helped them to overcome this kind of problems which they face in life. And that's exactly what I'm trying to communicate through this presentation of illness to wellness. So the way I have structured it is that we will first have a practical session on physical relaxation, an experience which I would all of you like to try with an absolute open heart and open mind. This physical relaxation can be tried at any point of time. It hardly takes 5 to 7 minutes. Now, it will help you to de-stress yourself considerably. Just we'll have an experience of that. And then I begin the presentation. And during the presentation, we'll have a practical exposure of meditation too. And after that practical exposure of meditation, I will end it with the concluding the talk on illness to wellness. So we'll begin with the practical experience on relaxation, physical relaxation. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you are audible.
Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Am I
Please
audible?
continue. Yes, sir.
I would request all to gently close their eyes as we undergo the physical relaxation. How we will go about is we will utilize energy from Mother Earth to travel to various parts of our body from our feet up to the head. And as the energy travels to various parts of the body, you will observe that that particular part of the feels light, feels relaxed, and whatever stress and tension is there in that part of the body, that goes off. So I request you all to close your eyes. Please feel energy from Mother Earth slowly entering your body through your feet. As the energy travels up through your ankles, through your shin area, and up to your knees, feel the knees and the part of your legs below the knees absolutely relaxed and light. Gently allow the energy to now flow to your upper legs, to your thighs, the place where you are sitting on the chair, the part of the body which touches the chair. So your entire leg from top to bottom is feeling very, very relaxed. Now gently allow this energy to go to your back. Feel your lower back being very, very relaxed. Allow this energy to go up your spinal cord, up to your upper back. So your entire back feels very light, very relaxed, and all your stress and tension in your back is released. Now gently feel this energy coming to your stomach area. Your stomach and abdomen. All the stress and tension in your stomach and abdomen area is getting out of the system. Feel this energy slowly traveling up to your chest area. Feel your gut muscles, your heart, your various muscles being absolutely relaxed. Gently allow this energy to go up to your shoulders. Feel as though your shoulders have melted away. All the stress and tension in your shoulders has evaporated. Now, allow this energy to flow to both your hands, your upper arms, your elbow, your palm, your fingers. Feel all the stress and tension in the arms. Totally, it has got out of the system. Allow this energy now to come to your neck. Feel the neck area absolutely relaxed and light. Now allow this energy to go up to your facial area, your eyes, your nose, your ears, your facial muscles, all are feeling very, very relaxed. Feel this energy go up to your forehead. All the stress, tension, fear, nervousness, worries which are there in the forehead are getting out of the system. Allow this energy to go to the top of the head. The top of the head, the back of the head, all are feeling very, very relaxed. Now gently allow this energy to go towards the heart. Now if you observe and see, the entire body system from head to toe will feel very, very relaxed. You will feel the entire body system absolutely relaxed. Now this is the physical relaxation process, which if you observe and see your mental state now compared to your mental state before you started this practice, you'll observe that you feel absolutely relaxed now. So this can at any point of time.
So your voice is not clear, sir. Hello, sir.
Her voice is not coming.
Dear participants, sir is facing some network issue. Please hold on for a while. He's rejoining. Thank you.
Yeah, is it visible to everybody?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
See the presentation?
Yeah.
Can you see the presentations? Is the presentation visible?
Yes, yes, sir, presentation visible.
Okay. Okay. Sorry for the interruption. I think in this online world we get used to this kind of disruptions. There seems to be some problem with the internet connectivity. So we begin the journey from illness to wellness. So we have all been through this period, this post-COVID syndrome that we have. We have all begin to observe ourselves more closely. We have certainly become more empathetic in nature. Now this applies to one and all. So I'm not going to, say something of which is very novel in nature. We are all very clear. Most of us have lived sufficiently to have a clear view. But just to understand the very small differences in these terms, illness is, of course, a disease or a period of sickness or an abnormal condition affecting the body, a condition that prevents the body from working normally. Now, herein comes the catch. We can have an underlying problem that can lead to a disease in the future. If that underlying problem is not attended to at the right time, this then matures into a disease in the future. So what is the difference between disease and illness? In general, disease is something that needs to be cured. It could be an infection, it could be an injury, it could be a toxic exposure, cell degeneration, etc. So invariably, when somebody is said to have contracted a disease, he has to go to somebody who can treat it. So we fundamentally go to a doctor so that we are cured of that infection or the injury is taken care of. That's what we fundamentally know as disease. Now here we have to understand the difference. Illness is something that needs to be managed, such as feeling of pain, discomfort, distress, weakness, fatigue, etc. So illness is how we respond. What is our response? And therefore, the feelings come into picture. So that's where it is the psychosomatic involvement is there when it comes to illness. Now, illness doesn't develop out of the blue. It is not something which happens all of a sudden. It manifests due to ignoring the daily signs of discomfort, signals of disturbance of balance that comes from our body. And the heart is the one which gives that signal. You see, the beauty of the heart is that when something goes wrong, it's only then when it gives a signal. When I'm breathing normally, there is no signal which is going to come from the heart stating that I'm breathing normally. But the moment there is discomfort, I'm not able to breathe normally, the respiratory system is not functioning properly, there's a signal which comes from the heart. So this is with any of our, this functioning, our nervous system, our digestive system, all these systems, they run of their own accord. When there is a problem, the signal emanates from the heart. So taking this continuum further, we looked at illness, we looked at disease. What is wellness? Wellness is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So this is pronounced by the World Health Organization. So it's a holistic integration of physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. So when it means there's the fueling of the body. When one talks of fueling of the body, like you have the petrol which runs as a fuel for the vehicle, you have, all of us know about the balanced food intake. there is vitamins, there is carbohydrates, there is fats, all the various ingredients, all of them fuel the body. There's engaging the mind, how it gets occupied, and nurturing the spirit. By nurturing, it means the spirit is ennobled. So this is what is called a holistic integration. Now, what that means is that wellness is an individual pursuit. It is something where it's a choice which we make. In fact, if you look at life as such, it is continuously based on the set of choices we make each moment. It is the set of behaviors we adopt, and the lifestyle that we adopt for ourselves. That is what decides on our wellness. I think this particular sentence, we are responsible for our choices, our behavior, and our lifestyle. This would perhaps summarize of what is wellness. But the major issue that we have is, I don't think we reflect enough, either in course of a day or during the course of our life, about the choices we make, about the behaviors we adopt, and the lifestyle we adapt. So therefore, wellness is the act of practicing healthy habits on a daily basis to attain better physical, mental, and spiritual health outcomes. Physical outcomes, there would be a minority which would attend to also practicing healthy habits, and there would be wellness is when you actually that instead of surviving in life, you try to excel. All of us are familiar that we students who just try to pass, that's not our interest. We are trying to mentor and facilitate students to excel. So this applies to us too. So wellness is when you are able to take right decisions and lead a well-being is slightly different from wellness. Well-being is more associated with contentment, joy, happiness, bliss. How many of us can say that we are leading a contented life, a life imbued with joy, happiness, and bliss? So this is what is we are attempting. Every single individual who is born on earth is looking for this. How do we get there is the question. This is nothing new. Life is a journey, not a destination. Invariably, if you see, most of us in life will have to observe and see, are we enjoying the moments in life? Are we able to appreciate the small joys in life? Are we getting joy out of the daily life that we are leading? Or are we just waiting when such and such a thing happens? When I'm able to achieve this? When I'll be able to present a paper in an international conference? when my paper gets published in such and such a journal, is it at that time I'm going to get joy, when I'm going to get name, fame, or is there joy that I experience each day when I'm collaborating in this process? So we have to find happiness each day, each moment. There's a great statement made by this gentleman, J. Stanford. Health is a state of body, wellness is a state of being. Now, a state of being is something which is experienced within. So, in order to establish your state of well being, this is something which each of us needs to examine. Now, believe me that very few of us actually find time to contemplate, because life has become, we have got so busy in life, we are playing multiple roles, playing the role of a husband or wife, of a father or mother, of a daughter or a son. At office, we are a teacher, we are a mentor, we are a department head, you are in some committees in the college, and in each role, you are trying to excel. And therefore, you are distributing time to each role. But are we finding time to reflect, to contemplate? If we find time, these are the fundamental questions. So I hope each of one of you utilizes this time here right now to actually contemplate as I'm reading through these questions. Am I getting enough sleep each night? The 7 to 8 hours of sleep, am I able to allocate that many hours each day? Think, is my quality of sleep good? The quality of sleep is the most crucial thing. Is it a disturbed sleep at night? Am I worried about my future and which is bothering my sleep? Am I unhappy with the day I have spent which is bothering my sleep? Is the fear and nervousness which has become part and parcel of me continuing to disturb my sleep? Am I finding time to exercise daily? Though the COVID has given one positive lifestyle change in us. Most of us have begun exercising now daily, which is very good. Am I finding time to read? Mental exercise. Like you have the
Sir, simply, sir, except the last one or 1 point maybe, all are no.
for the body. Hello. Is it audible now? Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir, audible.
We need to reverse
So,
the
from what point I am not sure it was not audible. So, pardon?
Sir, it was, am I finding time to read mental exercise?
Okay, fine, fine. So, am I having, am I having a regulated diet daily? That's my mental makeup when consuming food. So, I'm sorry, I don't know.
Research project proposal.
Okay. So, when eating food, it is, it's very important that we have a peace, we have a peaceful state of mind. There's a lot of disturbance.
Excuse me.
Can you please mute? There's a lot of disturbance I'm able to hear. Can you please mute yourself?
Sir, unmute yourself.
Yeah, I hope it's audible now.
Yes, yes, sir.
I'm sorry. So when consuming food, it is very important that we are in a peaceful state of mind, we are in a relaxed state of mind. So at any point of time, if you're not able to hear the voice, please give me a signal so that I know that, okay, I need to unmute again. So when interacting with others, am I able to appreciate the underlying need? Now, this is something very important that we need to bring into our lives. When, like for instance, when in our family, the spouse comes up with a problem, we immediately react, we get angry, we get wild. That's because we are not able to appreciate the underlying need of the other. That's because we are thinking about ourselves. So we are not able to look at the perspective of the other person. Now, this is something which has to be cultivated. That whenever I'm interacting with anybody, I take myself out of the picture. Is it not audible? Okay. So when interacting with,
Participants are requested to mute your mic.
okay. How often I had mood swings in the day? This is something which we need to look at. How often do we get upset in the day? How often do I get irritated in the day? Now, whenever I get upset or irritated, what is the cause for my getting upset or irritated? If we don't analyze this, there is no way we are going to change or improve. Or when I'm feeling happy, what does it that makes me feel happy? It is worthwhile trying to look at this. Now, did I take a pause when responding to others? Taking a pause is a very crucial habit to be developed. When I get irritated, when I get angry, then you react with your mind. When I take a pause, I respond with the heart. So responding with the heart instead of reacting through the mind. This is again a habit to be cultivated. It requires effort. Did I show concern for anybody during the day? Now just think the whole day, that from morning to night, have I shown concern? How do you show concern for anybody? Is when you feel for somebody. But if we are all the time only concerned about myself, how am I going to show concern for the other? So think about it. If during the day, whether it is your wife or your family members or your husband, or whether it's your, in office to your colleague or to anybody, did I appreciate anyone during the day? Each one of us loves appreciation. We are delighted when somebody appreciates us. But do we care to appreciate the other person? Appreciation is what keeps people motivated. So we have to make it a habit to appreciate others. Did I help anyone during the day? The helping is a nature which has to be cultivated. It may not be part and parcel of us. Did I express gratitude to the Maker God in the day? See, especially during this COVID time, you won't believe, I have met so many people who have said, we are so happy to be even alive today. We are so happy that we are alive and fit today and not in the hospital. So we may not realize this unless we are in that boat. Did I make anyone happy during the day? Now, this is something which we have to think. Because of me, have I been able to make anybody happy? So these are the questions we have to ask to establish our state of well-being. So there are 8 dimensions of wellness, which occupational, financial, environmental, spiritual, intellectual, and emotional. We'll go through them briefly. Environmental wellness. One has to be aware of the interaction between environment, community, and yourself, and behave in a way that we care for each other responsibility. Now, we know within the family, when there is tension or there is pressure, the whole atmosphere becomes heavy at home. Most of you would have observed, or in office, in a meeting, when 2 people are fighting with each other, the atmosphere becomes tense. That is what is the environmental wellness. We have to care. I should not be the cause of spoiling the environment. By environment, I mean even thoughts. Thoughts are also a source of pollution. Negative thoughts are a major source of pollution. We owe a lot to Mother Nature. And gratitude by acting responsibility. There's a respect to decrease pollution. We show respect to Mother Nature by contributing to decrease pollution. So we have to say no to plastic, planting more trees, facilitating that. Each one of us as human beings has a responsibility towards nature. There is a respect for animal world. You see, it is this disrespect to animal world which has resulted even in COVID. It is a bat which has finally gone and bit a Chinese, and then the whole thing has happened. So the other way is to avoid animal food. See, the theory is, I may be hurting the sentiments of the non-vegetarian eaters here. My apologies for the same. But the theory is that, when the animal was killed, there is a lot of fear and a lot of pain and suffering that the animal has gone through when it was killed. And when we eat that animal food, whatever pain and suffering that the animal had, that gets transferred as vibrations to the person who eats it. Now, do we have less amount of problems within us or in our daily life that we want to add to the pain and suffering that we already have? Think about it. Reducing noise pollution. We just witnessed in Gujarat, noise pollution to the heights during this Uttaran festival a couple of days back. There's no harm in flying kites. It's an excellent, break. But then blaring music, high decibel music in each terrace, that my music should be louder than yours. Is that a fair practice? Is there any concern that we show for others through that? Financial wellness. Most of us are aware of this. But what we look at financial wellness is in terms of financial security. Financial security is not what we are talking of. We are talking of earnings in the right way. What I mean here is, if there are dishonest earnings, or when earning, there's a wrong attitude, wrong intention of hurting others, wanting to do frauds, or when you do all this and you earn the money, in some way all that comes back to us and affects our mental well-being. Because in the heart of hearts, you know that you're committing wrong. You know that intentions are wrong. So I may get away with earning the money, but the damage that I have caused to my heart through these dishonest earnings will surely end up in a heart attack. It has been established repeatedly in our cardiac center, where we have got cases of people with dishonest earnings have come back with major problems of the heart. See, when you are not earning in a proper way, when there's dishonest earnings, the mind remains disturbed. And when the mind remains disturbed, and when eating food, you take that food in that disturbed mind, the mental well-being is certainly disturbed. And this is the fundamental cause of disease. Therefore, we have to respect money, use it in the right way. Now, it is not important whether you spend 500 or you spend 5,000, but it should be spent in the right manner. Like when we have this famous saying in Gujarati, "Konu Bapnu Diwali," and we have the other statement, "Maru Bapnu Diwali." That is, if it is my father's money, I will spend it with care. But where it is somebody else's money, I don't need to bother about it. Now, this is a bad way of looking at things. So whatever it is, money, whoever it belongs to, whether the organization or whatever, it has to be used wisely. The spending should be based on needs, on capacity, not based on comparison. If my colleague has brought an iPhone, I also need to buy an iPhone. If my colleague has upgraded to an SUV, I also need to upgrade to an SUV. These are all, we need to move out of this comparison habits, which has become an inherent part of our nature. Therefore, cultivating contentment and satisfaction as attributes is very important. Now, just how will this habit of cultivating contentment and satisfaction come about in life? Think about it. I will, of course, subsequently come to this point that meditation is an answer to this, where automatically you develop these attributes of contentment and satisfaction. Like when you put your hand in fire, you'll get burnt. When you put your hand in water, your hands are going to get wet. Similarly, if you go within and try to meditate, peace, contentment, satisfaction are a direct result. Social wellness. We are all connected, right? We have seen in the COVID world how the entire world is connected. Herein, energy radiated will be shared and spread all around and come to one who initiated. Therefore, our responsibility in radiating positive energy. It is so much so in an organization. If one person thinks negative, it's like poison. It affects the entire environment. So instead of putting the blame on somebody, if most of you are experts in physics, where you know there are different vectors, and the combined vector is one where you add and subtract the amplitude of each of these vectors. So each one of us having positive energy, we will be able to reduce the impact of the negative amongst us. You're all familiar with this term, love begets love. Now, so if you're able to demonstrate kindness, if you're able to demonstrate love for others, the whole atmosphere changes, the whole social fabric changes. Expect not, for thou shalt not be disappointed. Easier said than done. But the problem in life is that all the time we expect from others. No, we have to do an invertendo and start expecting from our own self. The moment we start expecting from our own self, the whole equation changes, the game changes. There's, of course, when sharing on social media, we need to be careful. This is something which we need to cultivate and stop comparison, competing with others. This will take care of social wellness. So we should only compete with our own self to improve. Now, how many of us follow this? I am better today compared to yesterday. I am better tomorrow compared to today. Are we even evaluating and seeing, am I a better human being? Is my lifestyle better? Is there less negativity in me? If each one of us does this, automatically the social wellness is bound to happen. There is a very powerful prayer which I practice every day, and it has done me a lot of good. Each one of you can also try this. Correct thinking, right understanding, and honest approach to life is cultivated in everyone around, and moderation and cheerfulness is developed in everybody. Now, when I do this in office, when I come daily, what am I trying? That everybody around me develops the correct thinking, right understanding, and honest approach to life. Now, when everybody around me is like this, with correct thinking, right understanding, and honest approach, isn't it going to be a pleasure to work in such an environment? We are praying that everybody is cheerful around me. When everybody is cheerful, the whole atmosphere is of a different order. And therefore, positive affirmations have to become part of our everyday life. When we get up in the morning, we say, today is a great day. Today is an enjoyable in a happy frame of mind today. If each member of the family gets up with this positive affirmation, when he goes to bed, he sleeps with a positive affirmation. Home is going to be a changed atmosphere. Emotional and mental wellness. So being able to cope up with daily stresses cheerfully. This cheerfully is what is important. How many of us are cheerful when we undergo our daily life? Can cheerfulness be cultivated on its own? I humbly put forward that for getting cheerful, enthusiasm is required. Now, the word enthusiasm has come from the theos, means God. If we are able to find the support of God within us, then this enthusiasm can come, cheerfulness will come, That alone will help us to be able to face the daily stresses. Maintaining a safe, stable, and supportive relationship. Now, how does one able to maintain a safe, stable, and supportive relationship? It's only if everybody around is also cheerful. So I have to be concerned about the welfare of those around me also. If only I am happy and the people around me are unhappy, there's no way that I can continue to be happy. For emotional and mental wellness, it is so important to have a clear sense of purpose and meaning in one's life. Having clarity in goals in life and able to take decisive steps to work towards their achievement. How many of us have a clear sense of purpose and meaning in one life? If this was an face-to-face session, I have actually asked each one of you to raise your hands so that at least I know which of you says that yes, I have a clear sense of purpose and meaning. This is so important to emotional and mental wellness. Are you bogged down by too many thoughts, too many worries, focusing on too many activities? You know, when in our mobile phone or in our laptop, there are too many apps which are open. What happens? There's parallel processing happen, the whole CPU gets slow and you're not able to actually perform properly. Same is happening with our mind. There is worry, there is tension, there is fear, there is nervousness. All of that have clogged our mind so much. We are not able to focus on what we have to do. So how is the emotional and mental wellness possible? We have to close, like you close all the apps, unwanted apps. We have to find out ways to delete the nervousness, worry, tension, fear, etc. And how can one remove all these apps, nervousness, tension, fear, worry, complexity, all this? Meditation is the panacea for it. I will come to the practical demonstration in course of time, but this is something food for thought, that meditation alone can help you get rid of all these negative tendencies in us. Intellectual reserve. Now, most of you must be familiar with this term cognitive reserve. All of us are saving money for our future. We are building our bank account so that the future can be secure. Now, for all of us, the brain is so crucial for our functioning, correct? Now, most of you are familiar. This cognitive reserve is something like you are trying to build a reserve, energy reserve for the brain in future, so that dementia doesn't set in, or your mental capabilities don't start degenerating. Now, for that, you need to form neural pathways daily. So you need to build that cognitive. How does a cognitive reserve get developed? By being creative daily. Please give a thought. Are you allowing yourself to be creative daily? Are there any new challenges that you accept daily? Or are we living a humdrum life? The same thoughts, the same people we meet, the same expressions we have, the same irritations we have, the same angers we have. Is there any new challenge that I'm accepting daily? Am I learning something new every day? Now, learning something new need not mean that I do some new body of research every day. It's not possible. Learning something new could be simple things, like supposing I try to be cheerful today. That's something new that I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to help someone daily. I'm trying to express my gratitude daily. Something new that I'm trying. For all this, reflection and contemplation is essential every day. The practice to connect within yourself daily is crucial for this intellectual wellness. So reading a book daily is something, it doesn't mean you read crime fiction or some legal thing. No, that's not any, that doesn't lead to intellectual wellness. It means relaxing yourself. Occupational satisfaction comes with giving rest to our work rather than treating it casually. So do we give respect to our work? Are we able to accept and rejoice in success of others? We like success, but are we happy when others do well? Is there mutual respect, which is a key to intellectual wellness? Are you a team player, respecting others' views, ideas? All this leads to intellectual wellness. Now, spiritual wellness. There's a beautiful story which I thought I should share with you. There was an owner of supermarket, very well-to-do man. Now, like all of us who are doing very well in life, you have got a lot of esteem, lot of name, fame. You are appreciated a lot in the intellectual world. You will say, why do I need spiritual wellness? I'm doing fine. I've got good financial security. So the saint said, he went to the saint and asked, why do I need spiritual wellness? So the saint said, okay, do you have some cows? Please send the cow to your superstore. The cow went into the superstore. It found out where there were leafy vegetables. Its focus was only on the leafy vegetables. It went, had the leafy vegetables and came out. It was satisfied with what it had got. It was focused on what it wanted. Then some pets were sent, like dog. The dog searched out where the pet food was, had its share of pet food and then walked out. It was very, very satisfied. Then human being like you and me was sent. They were told, you're not able to hear, is it? Okay. So a human being like you and me was sent, and he was given a half an hour time and say, anything that you want from the store, you're welcome to take. It's all yours. You just have to pick it up. Now this man was confused. When he saw one thing, he liked it. Next moment he saw something else. He said, no, I want this also. I want that also. He was unable to decide. There was this fear of missing out. Oh, if I don't take this, I lose the opportunity. So when half an hour ended, the man was still confused, unable to decide what to take. He was there and there. Now the saint came and explained to this person, do you understand what's the problem? You, the human being, are well educated, you are civilized, but lack in wisdom. Wisdom is what we called viveka. Viveka is the choice that we make between right and wrong. Now, when you say right, there's only one right way to do anything. Everything else is wrong. So, it is not doing the right thing is more important than doing it right. Now, how do you decide? Who is to guide you? Is it possible to always spirituality comes in? It says the heart as an instrument has been given by God to us for guidance, what we call intuition, tuition from within. But do we care to seek input from the heart? No, the spiritual wellness is all about seeking guidance from within. The heart is the mariner's compass. It helps us to understand the meaning and purpose of our existence. Helps us to understand how significant we are compared to the Creator. So, The mind can be regulated and trained to be a wonderful servant. So each one of us has about 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts in a day. Now, when there are so many thoughts, what happens? And our memory is full of instances of the past of anger, hatred, jealousy, tension, fear, nervousness, worry. All that is stored within us. So, whenever we close our eyes and sit, what happens? Immediately it pops us. The anger, the hatred, the jealousy, the tension, the fear, all that pops up. So what happens? The mind is full. When the mind is full, obviously it keeps on thinking. So the mind is not at rest. What meditation does is we learn how to go within. In meditation, we learn the art of ignoring thoughts. So we'll now have a practical session of meditation. I will guide you through the process of meditation, how to do it. So what we will do is, I will first give you the instruction, then we will actually do it. We will close our eyes and imagine there is divine light within our heart. We don't have to think whether it is green light, red light, yellow light, blue light, nothing of that sort. It is just an assumption that there is divine light in my heart, the source of divine light within my heart, and the source of divine light within my heart is attracting me within, and I'm able to easily go inside myself. Just sit relaxed, thoughts will come. Just ignore these thoughts. If you try to stop these thoughts, they will increase in intensity. Newton's third law, action and reaction are equal and opposite. So don't try to stop, just sit very relaxed. If there are concentration is not our objective. Imagine like you're watching some favorite movie or something, how you're observing. In that way, just be very, very relaxed. You can change your positions of hands and legs in between, no problem. But please keep your eyes closed. It is very important that you keep your eyes closed so that the eyes is our main sense. If we look outside, we are diverted by the outside objects. So we close our eyes and try to go within. So gently close your eyes, all of you. Imagine the source of divine light within you is attracting you within, and you're able to easily disconnect yourself from the outside world and go into the inner world. If thoughts come, just ignore them. So we'll sit in meditation for about 15 to 20 minutes. When I say that's all, please open your eyes. I'd request you to not open your eyes in between. No harm will happen to you, I assure you. Just sit extremely relaxed. Please start meditation.
Sir, your slide is changing, but your mic is off.
Now, if you, all these people were continuously thinking of something, so we can say in a way that they were all meditating. Now, what is the difference that we are doing now when we are meditating on the divine light within the heart? We are meditating on the presence of God within us. God is everywhere. He is nameless, formless. मंदिर में है, मस्जिद में है, गिरजा में है, हर जगह में है. But there is also the presence of God within us. Now, in this meditation that we sat, there is yogic energy which is used. Because of this yogic energy, we are able to dive within ourselves. So what are we trying to do? Whatever thoughts that are arising in our mind, we try to ignore these thoughts. So as we practice this daily, you are practicing the art of ignoring thoughts. It's like, Sunil Gavaskar used to be an adept to avoid the ball outside the off stump. He would shoulder out. He practiced that. So he mastered the technique of not edging the ball in the slips. So whenever the ball was outside the off stump, he would shoulder out. So he practiced that number of times. So same way as we daily practice meditation, like when brushing teeth, it's a natural process. We don't have to think. When washing face, it's a natural process. We don't have to think. Same way as we meditate daily, we will learn the art of ignoring thoughts. And as we ignore the thoughts, we will be able to dive within. So when we dive within, we are able to establish the connection with the God within, which is what in our Yoga Sutras they say, the union of the Atma with the Paramatma. That's what we are trying to establish, the yoga. So as we are able to go within, we are able to experience the peace within, the silence within, or God is also called silence. So we daily, like for a swimmer, initially he is able to dive in only the surface. He slowly learns how to go deeper, deeper, 1 feet, 2 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet. In the same way, with each meditation, we are able to go deeper and deeper within. So Buddha was once asked, "What have you gained from meditation?" He replied, "Nothing." However, Buddha said, "Let me tell you what I lost: anger, depression, fear of old age, death, etc." So what can happen with meditation is you slowly fear, nervousness, etc. Fundamentally, all your prejudices. When you remove all your prejudices, automatically there is emptiness within, because all the negativity has been removed from our system. So the question comes, why meditate? If we meditate, our focus improves. See, meditation, you are in a meditative state.
Sir, your voice is not coming.
Sir, your voice is not coming.
That unmuted.
Yeah. So it's not a separate part to be walked upon. It is to be integrated in our daily life by adopting the daily practice of meditation. So let us summarize by saying the path from illness to wellness is, by illness I means I lack love. Love is not to be mixed with affection. Affection is what we have with family members, with our wife, with our children and all that. Love is something is only for the creator, for God. Love is strengthening the bond with the creator. So in illness, I lack that bond with God. I lack that relationship with God. When we is embraced through meditation, you are establishing a relationship, an inner Wi-Fi with the God within. And when you establish that inner Wi-Fi, we enjoy life in life because there is contentment, there is joy, there is purpose, there is meaning, and there is significance to life. By significance is what is it which is impactful in life? What is it that matters in life? The soul, which is so important to us, we begin to realize the significance of that. So you become the noun love in lieu of the verb love. By verb love means you make love, you want to show love. Whereas you become love means like from sun, always sunlight flows to everybody. Those who want it, take it. Similarly, you become love. People around are able to feel your love. So compassion and empathy is a direct outcome. You care for others, their feelings. You love all and hurt none. Now, when this is there, others are so happy being in your presence. Like a child, we are all happy to be with child because the child has no expectations. The child is smiling, joyful. There's you spread joy along. From love, there is wellness. Practice of meditation further. There are many other techniques. We have just exposed you to two. There is relaxation and meditation. There is rejuvenation, prayer, and other things which can be taken forward and you can integrate it in your lives. Any of you are interested to take this practice further are welcome to get in touch with the organizers. I'll be more than happy to be of any use to you. would be termed as effective if and only if something in your life to seek a change. Thank you so much for your patient hearing, and I really hope that you want to adopt meditation as a practice in your life to bring about genuine lifestyle change in yourself and move on the path of wellness. Thank you all for your patient hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Suresh. Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, yeah, yes.
Yeah. So thanks for making us connect within and getting refreshed, rejuvenate, and reheart with ourselves. For all the participants, Mr. Suresh Rajgopalan is an alma mater alumni of the same institute, our institute, that is LD College of Engineering. He has done his BE Mechanical from LD College of Engineering and an MBA from IRMA. So he is our own alumni also, and he has worked with so many corporate, say, firms, and also a wellness trainer. And also, Suresh sir and all the participants, we have one or two groups of students who work for this kind of, do the project or research or analysis on this wellness and effects on the body parameters. That is the different kind of say breathing techniques, meditation, and the effects on EEG and ECG and all that. And even the research papers are published. So we are also say students are also working on this line. So it is very well proved also that by this meditation and certain pranayam does affect regulate our body parameters that all learned participants know, all when we talk of ECG or EEG and all other different parameters. So thank you, Mr. Suresh Rajgopalan, for giving this wonderful session. Thank you. And over to Pooja, Professor Pooja.
So can you ask some questions, sir?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sir, when I was
Thank you, sir.
this meditation session, I had a heaviness of the head, sir. It's a good practice or what? I just wanted to know.
Thank you so much.
So, Suresh, Mr. Suresh.
Yeah, yes, please tell me.
Yeah,
Can I disconnect?
Yeah, there are some questions. There are some questions. Can you
Okay.
please repeat the question?
Yeah, please.
Sir,
Go ahead.
So during this meditation session, I had a heaviness of the head, sir. I just wanted to know, am I doing something wrong?
Yeah. So, heaviness of the head will come if you concentrate. So, one is not supposed to concentrate at all during meditation. So, just be very, very relaxed. The way we sort of walk. So, heaviness will not be there. So, just relax. You'll feel very relaxed and light.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, hello. Hello, sir. I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Sir, in English language, there is one thing that whatever happens for a reason. And in Hindi also, there is a saying that जो भी होता है वो अच्छे के लिए होता है. So,
Correct.
with regard to both of this saying, I want to ask you one question that there is a process of decision making in our life. So,
Correct.
decision making process sometimes happens, sir, for a very small things. We take a lot of time to decide what to do. And for a bigger things, we do not think about much, and sometimes it is a quick decision. So I want to ask you whether this decision making process is entirely conscious and making an effort by individual, or sometimes it is unconscious. Sir, my question is whether this decision process is conscious or it is sometimes unconscious.
Right. It's a very nice question. I appreciate your question. And it's a very practical problem that most of us face. I'll tell you, there have been a number of instances in my life, perhaps it might have happened to you too, that I'm worrying about something for, let us say, a couple of months, and I'm disturbed about not being able to take the right decision because I've been thinking about the pros and cons. So suddenly one day my wife asked me, well, what is bothering you? I've been observing for the last 2 months that you have not been your usual self. You have been disturbed. What is bothering you? And then I tell her that this has been bothering me. I'm unable to decide between this and this. And she says it's so simple. This is the answer. Now, how was she able to think of that answer immediately? Whereas I've been bothering about it for 2 months, let us say. So this is the women, let us say, are endowed with this power of intuition, where they're able to get the guidance from within straight away. And the second reason is that they are looking at it from a different dimension. You see, when the teacher is able to guide the student. So same way, when you are able to go to another dimension, taking a decision is much easier. So what happens when you sit in meditation is you go to a deeper dimension within yourself. When you go to a deeper dimension within yourself, decision, a conscious decision is much easier. See, I'll tell you what happens in meditation. In meditation, supposing there are 10 jobs to be done in office, for example, today. Now, fundamental time management teaches us that it is not possible to do these 10 jobs in a day. But you are sitting in meditation in the normal way at home, not with a specific idea. So automatically 4 jobs get eliminated straight away. So in that way, during meditation, what happens is unconsciously you eliminate the unwanted things. So only the other things remain. So you learn how that over a period, meditation helps you to save time because you're eliminating unwanted tasks. Not only that, in crucial decisions which you have to take, you are able to go within and seek answers from within. I mean, whether you look at the example of Archimedes or Madame Curie or any of those great scientists, they have all taken. So for achieving that relaxed and contemplative state, you need to go into meditation. When you go into meditation, you go into a different dimension. When you go into a different dimension, you're able to see things with a different perspective, what we call a direct perspective. And therefore, decision making is of a different order. But this has to be practically experienced, and then you will appreciate it. Otherwise, it is more of trying to use logic to explain something. But when you experience something, it's your direct perception. I hope I've been able to explain and clarify your question.
Yes, sir. I got your answer. I got my answer, and it is very much clear now.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a matter of time that we need to focus on to strengthen ourselves by the meditation. Also, it's a kind of a practical perception, or we can say a practical experience that will decide whether our decision is right or wrong. Am I
Correct.
sir? Yes.
And the more you start using the heart to take decisions, the more you will start relying on it. Like today, for any information, you use Google, right? Automatically, you go to Google and search and get the answer. It's an automatic process. Same way as you meditate, you will start taking all decisions using the heart, and it's so easy to go within and seek answers from within.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is it all?
Sir, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you.
Sir, I have a question. Just simple question.
Yes.
During the
Yes, sir.
meditation, you told me that if I listen melody type of music, full music,
Hello.
suppose Om. So is it perfect or without any music, just 10 minutes meditation or 10 to 15?
Yeah. You see, if you remember in school, we had this cursive writing, right? Where you used to use some letters for you to write on, and you learn the art of writing like that. So you use some, or say somebody uses a walking stick to walk or something. So you are taking support of something. Now, what in meditation, you are not taking any support, you are directly diving into yourself. So music, if you're taking, certainly music can be taken, but
Not
using
audible.
music, you're limiting yourself to usage of something. But if you are able to directly go inside yourself, that is the best.
Okay, sir. That means
Very
without
nice.
music, it will be perfect.
Anybody has questions can ask.
Sir, is there any YouTube channel for learning meditation?
Yes, there is. You can. There is heartfulness.org.
Can you
H-A-R-T.
Can
Heartfulness.org.
you type it?
Yeah. I'll just type it.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah, typing it.
Hello.
Yes, just a minute.
Hanji, sir, is there any IoT online simulator for such sort of devices like healthcare and other
Yes, so you
applications?
can. Can you HEARTFULNESS heartfulness.org. You can go on to YouTube, or there is also Hearts app, HEARTS app, Hearts app.
Sir, can you just send in the chat box the complete
Trying to
link?
connect. I'm trying to put the chat.
You can send it to us. We'll put it in the WhatsApp group.
Okay. I'll do that. Sure.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you. We can put it in WhatsApp. Yeah.
For all the participants, we'll share it on the WhatsApp group.
Oh, great.
And Professor Utkarsh Pancholi has already shared the link. You can click on that for watching that video. Any other participant has question may ask. Okay, sir. That was very good session.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So all the participants are requested to join the next session at 1:30.